After being held at various police stations for 13 days, all the 7 SONU officials were arraigned in court. 6 pleaded guilty and were bonded to keep peace for a year, while Wafula Buke pleaded not guilty to his charge of seditious publication and was handed a 4-year jail term from 1987 to March 1991. While in Kamiti, Naivasha and Bungoma prisons where he served his term, he continued plotting the struggle.
When in prison, we got into contact with comrades like Mandero Mganga, Duoru Ngwen, Professor Maina Kinyati. So when we left prison, we already had arrangements. Say, Mandero, you're going, but when you reach there, please, give us instructions on how to re-engage when we leave. So when I arrived home, my mother gave me a letter addressed to me from Ibrahim somebody. Ibrahim was Mandero's code name in Tanzania. So now I got instructed. I had my own alphabet. So he writes to you in an alphabet that nobody can understand, And A is E, B is P, C is S, D is T, F is V, So you read a message which nobody can understand. So I got instructions on how to proceed. And I remember the first meeting I had after leaving prison was the following day. The first meeting to do the preparations for an armed approach to solving our national problems was the following day. I normally celebrate that because that means I was still okay. It's very strong enough. So we began based on the instructions I had from my comrades who are mainly in Tanzania and Uganda. Later on, I was forced to cross over the border when some of my colleagues were arrested. They blew up some secrets. So I went to Uganda and was in Mbale police station for some time, for my own security. When I crossed over Uganda, I had this problem. The intelligence team for the region, I had managed to sneak in a fellow who was an informer for them, but our guy in the underground. So when I crossed over the border to Ugandan side and they realized that I could be reached, they went and compromised the local administration at Ruaha. And so one of those nights when they were coming to pick me, to capture me and kidnap me and bring me back, I got the information from my brother and walked the whole night. Not the whole night really, but arrived at around 9 and notified me. So I left immediately on foot. I walked all the way towards Mbale, walked the whole night actually. So when I reached Mbale, I didn't want to tell them that because I knew they would put me in the cells for security. So finally, they also learned on their own that now the search had reached Mbale. So they said, no, we must put you in a safe place. I remember the district boss then was called Were Siabo, the special branch boss. So when he came to me in my residence in some servants' quarter and said, we are taking you to a safer place, we can't allow you to embarrass our security. I told him, I hope it's not prison. He said, no, it's going to be a police station. I said, no problem, let's go.
His Secretary General Kaberere Njenga went for armed training in Libya, but says was by default. According to Njenga, his mission was to leave for Cuba and meet Fidel Castro, and had to plan clandestinely on how to reach its embassy that at that time was in Kampala, Uganda, since they were on the watch list.
When I arrived at the border from Tanzania to Uganda, I was actually arrested. I have no papers. So you were arrested, interrogated like everyone else. And actually, I was eventually thrown into a police cell. I was actually arrested and stayed for 5 months in Central Police, Kampala. Now, when I was there, is when in the process of interrogation, I was asked, you have been saying you are one of the people in Kenya who are opposed to what is going on. Now, are you aware there are some Kenyans who are training who want to bring about change in your country? I said, no. Would you be willing to join such people? Now, I am in a cell not knowing even, I think my family didn't know where I was. Nobody knew even where I was. So that is now when when I said, yeah, it's okay, I can join them. After about 2 weeks, I was released. Now, from there, of course, I was taken and put on a plane. I was actually put on a plane and sent to Tanzania, because those who are going actually to Libya, they were actually coming from Kenya, going to Tanzania, then to the Cuba. They are assisted by the Libyan embassy to go to Libya. So that's now where I joined them. It's where I found those people who were organizing, who were actually members of KPF. But I was only later to know they were actually members of KPF. I was not even myself a member of KPF. So I found myself on my way to Libya, and finally to a training camp where I found a few other Kenyans who were training. So what to do?
However, initially he had been arrested for visiting Libyan consulate in Nairobi.
In solidarity with the Libyans, we wanted to demonstrate. So myself, in fact it's myself, visited the Libyan embassy to collect posters, something like posters, things that they had posters of the attack, the consequences of the attack. So at that time, I was even arrested outside the Libyan embassy with those posters. But the purpose of those posters were to take them and use them for a demonstration.
So someone like Kaberere Njenga was an actor, a serious one. There was one time when when Libya was bombed, and I think Gaddafi's daughter was killed by the US something. We wanted to demonstrate, and it was organized, but somehow people didn't come out, but Kaberere was alone in the streets. So if that is radicalism, I would call it yes, but I think he was so passionate about that, what he was doing, to understand that even if it means going it alone, then he would do it.
But as all this was happening, not much had gotten out to the international arena until...
But Kina Miguna, when they left, they actually went to Swaziland. When they were in Swaziland, they actually talked to BBC. And in fact, I didn't hear what they said, but I understand when they talked to BBC, they were able to say what is happening in Kenya. So it's like they made the world know there is some repression. Of course, Kenya at that time was being taken as one of the best countries, even in the region. Not many people knew what was going on.
After leaving prison, Wafula Buke crossed over to Uganda to continue with the second liberation struggle. However, it would have been an armed struggle.
While there, I was a very senior person, because my documents read the intelligence officer attached the president's office, which gave me the power to, I could pick any police officer to assist me. And whenever I collected boys to go for training, of course, at the roadblocks, I just passed. so that was the drama of my life. But then we went and trained in Western Uganda at some place. Maybe it's not good to mention, but I trained there.
What number were you training?
No, that was not important. We can't say that. Yeah, but it was not a mass training.
The first commander.
No, I would say I was the second in command. At Orange, I was here. The commander-in-chief was my boss, Duoru Ngwen, and I was the second in command. Yeah. Unfortunately, things changed, and Moi gave in to multipartyism. We thought it was important to let multipartyism play itself out first. Otherwise, we wouldn't get critical following.
But the move by President Daniel Arap Moi to lead KANU in repealing Section 2A of the Independence Constitution to allow multi-party in Kenya punctured their plan.
We were set. We had already done some things in coast, prepared. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you're not the only group. We also had the Kenya Patriotic Front, also trained and ready to engage the system. We also had February 18th movement, FERA, That's another group. So we had the three groups prepared to engage the system.
What was the name of the initial group before Kenya Patriotic and FERA? The other?
Ours was Mwakenya, which evolved to Wake. Wake is Umoja wa Wazalendo wa kupigania ukombozi Kenya. That was our movement, which was led by Professor Mshere Mugo and the late Dr. Adho Awiti and the comrade Mwadero Muganga. Those were the top leadership of our movement. Yeah, we're not in FERA ourselves.
This essentially means that President Moi would have experienced another attempted coup during his reign.
You will remember that there was Rwandese Patriotic Front. So this one was also Kenya Patriotic Front, designed along the same model. And Koigi, among the movements that we had here, I think he's the only one who had secured armed training in Libya itself. Yeah. So most of his guys managed to get training in Libya. That included my colleague, I think Dr. Kabare Njenga also trained there, but under the banner of Koigi Omwere. So there were this Patriotic Front, then there was the Kenyan Patriotic Front. You know, that format should be able to tell where the origins are.
Duncan Hemba for the Untold Story.